Hello and welcome back to my channel Just 365 Stories, and today I am preparing a decorative nameplate using an MDF board and Fevicryl molded clay. A nameplate is the first thing that people notice at the entrance of a house, classroom or office. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Let me begin by explaining the materials required for making a nameplate. So to prepare a nameplate, I am using a MDF board which will act as the base. MDF stands for medium density fiber board. It is strong, smooth, easy to work, and it is also easily available on the online platforms or in your craft store. So the next important thing that I'll be using here is Fevicryl molded clay, which comes in two parts. The first one is a resin part and the second one is a hardener. So by mixing both in 1:1 ratio, we can prepare the clay which can later be used for modeling and decoration. The other materials that I'll be needing are the paint brushes, pencil, ruler, acrylic paints, Fevicol for a strong adhesive, sandpaper, varnish or clear polish, and a small bowl of water. And once all the materials are ready, we can start designing our nameplate. So the first step is preparing the MDF board, and here I have taken a board of 8 inches which is also circular in shape. But you can choose the MDF board of your required size and shape, and it comes in other shapes such as rectangular, oval or square. Then by the usage of sandpaper, we can gently smooth the surface and edges of the board if we find it uneven. This process helps remove rough areas and ensures that paint and clay stick properly. So after sanding, we are going to clean the board with a dry cloth to remove the dust. Here we have completed our first step, that is preparing our MDF board. So the second step is all about designing the nameplate. Here we can do it in two processes. We can take some ideas from Pinterest as I have done. Or if you are an artist and you know about art and you love to draw, you can take your pencil and ruler and lightly draw the layout of the nameplate on the MDF board. Mark where the name will be written and where decorations such as flowers and leaves or patterns that I have also done here will be placed. So first is your planning, where to keep what. So planning the design in advance helps avoid mistakes and also gives a neat appearance. The third step that others usually follow is they prepare the base, and a base coat of acrylic paint is applied on the MDF board, and we can choose whatever color we want, like white, cream or any other color that matches the design and the idea. So if you are following this process, then you have to let the paint to dry completely before moving on to the next step, and if needed you can also apply a second coat for a smooth finish. But I have completely skipped this step as per my experience, if I apply the base coat and if I repeat it also for a smooth finish, then my designs get hidden, which is later difficult for me to trace. So by skipping this step, I have proceeded to the fourth step, which is all about preparing my molded clay. So here I have taken the molded clay of Fevicryl, which comes in two parts, that is resin and hardener. I have taken equal amounts of both the parts and mixed them well using my fingers. Here's a tip for you guys. Before proceeding with clay, do apply talcum powder to both your palm so that the clay doesn't stick to your hand while kneading. So the next step, after taking 2 parts of resin and hardener, we need to knead the clay until it becomes soft and uniform in color. And once mixed, the clay should be used within a short period of time as it starts to harden. And here I also want to tell you that take very little amounts of resin and hardener, and after kneading the clay, put it to rest for about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes, because the freshly kneaded clay is too soft to give it any shape. So when we put our clay to rest for about a few minutes, the clay hardens a little bit, which is easier to work with and which is also easier to give it any shape. So coming to the next step, that is our 5th step, is about creating the letters and designs. So for that we have to roll the clay into thin strips and form letters for the name. We can also shape the letters carefully by using our fingers or simple tools that you can also see in the video. And for cutting and everything, we have to use a sharp knife, and then we have to place the clay letters gently onto the MDF board according to our design. To stick my clay designs onto the MDF board, I have taken a few amount of Fevicol and I have added a few drops of water. Then with the help of the brush, I have mixed and prepared a mixture which I am applying first to my board, to the portion I want to apply the clay, and then I stick my clay models or letters onto the board. So I think I have covered all the points I had to share, what I kept in mind while I was preparing this nameplate of mine, and I hope that it was really helpful for you. Keep a close watch to see how I am molding all the letters and the flowers and petals that I have done. This designing gives a beautiful 3D look to our nameplate, and everything was just magical. This was my first time while preparing the nameplate and it absolutely turned out stunning. Yes, if I have to say that was it difficult, did it take me a lot of time to do it, then let me tell that yes, it took me a lot of time, and also I did some mistakes, like I took a lot of clay, like half of my packet, which got hardened later and I had to throw it. And so it is my advice, like take 1/6 of your packet and start rolling and working, and once you finish up one batch, you can again take clay in 1:1 ratio, prepare another batch and start working. So another tip for you is that when we are not working with some portions of the already needed clay, what we can do is, instead of keeping it in the open, we can cover the clay which is already needed with a wet towel or a wet cloth. The wet cloth really helps in keeping the clay smoother for a longer period of time while we are planning and modeling and working on our MDF board. So if you are wondering that are these dotting tools really necessary for shaping, so my answer is yes. But you do not need every tool if you are a beginner. But if you love art and craft, just go with a basic clay molding kit so that you can give your letters the desired shape. So basically what I'm doing here is I am forming long chains out of the clay that is needed, giving some shape, placing it on my letters or my diagrams and checking if they fit well or needs to be reshaped again. And if the shape is okay, then I am just applying the glue and water mixture to the MDF board and placing the final clay on it. And then I'm taking my knife and cutting and giving desired shape to my letters or my diagrams, and it is a very useful knife. It is a mandatory kit that you need to have if you are designing something out of molded clay or any clay that is available near you or you wanna work with. So another thing that was in my mind before proceeding with preparing this nameplate was I thought that I'll be needing this clay for this part and this clay for this part, but trust me, I started doing things, everything was random. I was just rolling the clay and I was randomly placing it on whichever diagram or letter I wanted to work with, because sometimes it's about the quantity we are having, sometimes it's about the shape which is already formed and it must be at 2-3 places. So I chose being spontaneous and follow my gut and doing whatever that was coming to my mind. So seeing it may seem difficult, but trust me, just try once and you will fall in love with it. And yeah, of course it will take time, patience, energy, but it will be worth it, I'm telling you. And finally, if you find the video is very much fast, you can just lower down the speed. I have just increased the speed because otherwise the video would have been so long and then it would have been boring for you to watch. And yes, I also want to give you another tip, and this will be the final one for the day, and that is, if you are not an artist, then also no problem, just take a printout of your design and take one carbon paper, and with light hands you can trace your design onto your MDF board and your design is ready. Ta-da! This artwork almost took me a good amount of 2 to 3 hours to complete it, and I didn't do it in one go, of course, because I have other things to do as well. So I took my time, and in my own pace, gradually I could complete the artwork, what seemed impossible to me at the first glance. And I was very happy that I could pull off this project, because I really wanted to gift it to my parents, and I was just imagining the glow on their face once I gift this to them. I know this one was going to be so special for them as well as for me, and I was very excited to see it getting completed. Here I have did some additional designs where I felt I should, and I have also skipped some designs where I felt I should. So after completing designing my nameplate, I had kept it to rest for about 1 day so that my design gets completely dried up and ready to get painted. So if you love my work, do let me know by dropping a heart or a comment. And if you have any questions or any suggestions, then you can also let me know, and I'll be happy to answer you and share with you more. So if you love this video, I know that you're gonna completely love my next video, because we're gonna color it and decorate it more. There are more surprises waiting, so stay tuned. Catch you in my next vlog. Till then, take care, love you all, bye bye.